I woke up Thursday morning to an empty bed. Nothing unusual. She'd been distant for months. What came next changed everything. My phone buzzed at 7:30. A text from my wife, sitting in the next room. Plans have changed. You're not coming on the cruise anymore. My mother wants only her blood family there. 6 months of planning. $8,000 paid, flights, cruise package, excursions. All mine. And now I was uninvited via text, the morning before departure. I walked into the living room. She didn't look up from her phone. You're texting me from the next room? I didn't want to argue. Mom's uncomfortable with you there. Blood family only. I've been family for 12 years. She shrugged, eyes on her screen. You know how she is. The disrespect was so casual, I felt strangely calm. This wasn't about her mother. This was her. Months of coldness, exclusion, dismissive behavior. Now this, final confirmation I didn't matter. When do you leave? Tomorrow morning. Early flight. Right. I grabbed my wallet and keys. She said something about not making it a big deal. I ignored her completely. First stop, the bank. Patrick, the manager, knew me from years of business there. Need to make some changes to my accounts. 30 minutes later, joint accounts closed, new account opened in my name only, funds transferred. He asked no questions. The look on my face told him enough. Next, the cruise line. 45 minutes on hold, listening to elevator music on repeat. I need to cancel all reservations under my confirmation number. Sir, with tomorrow's departure, the cancellation fees will be substantial. I don't care. Cancel everything. The entire booking? This shows 4 passengers, you, your wife, and 2 others. That's correct. Cancel all 4. Every single reservation. Silence. Then typing. Sir, you won't receive any refund due to the timing. I understand perfectly. Just cancel it all. $8,000 gone in one phone call. Worth every penny to watch what was about to happen. I called Judith, the realtor who'd sold me the house 8 years ago. We'd stayed in touch. Need to list the house. Today if possible. Today? That's fast. Is everything okay? Everything's fine. Just need to move quickly. Can you come by at 3? I'll be there. When I got home, she was in the bedroom packing her suitcase for the trip. She looked up. Where did you go? Running errands. I pulled my own suitcase from the closet and started packing. Clothes, important documents, laptop, photos that mattered. Essentials. What are you doing? Packing. For what? You're not coming on the trip. I know that. This is for something else entirely. She went back to her suitcase, completely unconcerned. Thought I was being dramatic. That I'd cool off when she got back. She had no idea what was coming. Judith showed up at 3. Professional as always. Didn't blink when I told her I needed it sold within 2 weeks. The market's hot right now. I think we can move this faster than that. This neighborhood's in high demand. My wife appeared in the doorway, confusion on her face. Why is there a realtor in our house? Because I'm selling it. You're what? You heard me. Sign goes up tomorrow morning. Have a wonderful trip with your blood family. I walked past her and continued packing. Behind me, she tried arguing with Judith, who calmly redirected her back to me. But I was done talking. That night, I loaded everything important into my truck. Checked into a motel across town. Not leaving yet. Just couldn't spend another night under that roof. She called 6 times. Every call went to voicemail. Each message was the same. Confusion mixed with irritation, like I was overreacting to something minor. She didn't get it yet. But she would. Very soon. The next morning, I woke up in that generic motel room, feeling more clear-headed than I had in months. No anxiety. No second-guessing. Just cold clarity about what needed to happen next. I knew she'd be at the airport by now, probably already through security. Her mother and sister would be with her, all 3 of them excited about their exclusive family vacation. The one I'd paid for. I checked my email. Confirmation from the cruise line. All reservations canceled as of midnight. No refund, just like they'd warned. I deleted the email and opened the next one. Judith had already listed the house. The photos looked professional. She'd worked fast. Listing price was aggressive but fair for the current market. She'd mentioned interest from 3 potential buyers before it even went live on the main sites. One was apparently paying cash. My phone rang. Unknown number. I let it go to voicemail, then listened. Hi. This is calling from the cruise line customer service. We have some passengers here at the terminal who are saying their reservations were canceled in error. They're asking to speak with you regarding confirmation number. I deleted it. 10 minutes later, another call. Different number. I ignored it too. She was finding out. Right now, at the airport, probably at the check-in counter. The realization hitting her that this wasn't a mistake or a computer glitch. That I'd actually done it. Good. I spent the morning at a storage facility, renting a unit and moving the items I'd packed. Didn't need much, just enough to get by until I figured out the next step. The guy working the counter was friendly, made small talk about moving. Yeah, I said. Fresh start. Good for you, man. Sometimes you just gotta reset everything. He had no idea how right he was. By noon, I was on the road. Heading west, no particular destination yet. Just putting distance between myself and that life. My phone kept buzzing. Texts, calls, voicemails piling up. I glanced at a few. What did you do? Call me right now. This isn't funny, answer your phone. Her mother had gotten my number somehow. Left a voicemail that was mostly screaming about respect and family, and how dare I ruin their vacation. The entitlement was impressive. Around 2 in the afternoon, Judith called. I actually answered this one. You're not going to believe this, she said. We already have an offer. Full asking price, cash, wants to close in 10 days. Take it. Are you sure? We could probably wait and get. Take it. I want this done. Okay. I'll need you to sign some documents. Can you come by the office? Email them to me. I'll sign and send them back tonight. Brief pause. You're leaving town. Already left. Good for you, she said quietly. I'll get everything processed. Where should I send the proceeds? I gave her my new account information. She didn't ask questions, just confirmed she had everything she needed. By evening, I was 4 states away, checked into another motel in a town I'd never been to before. Small place, quiet. I sat in the parking lot for a while, watching the sun set over a landscape that looked nothing like home. My phone had gone quiet. Battery was dying anyway. I let it die. Inside the room, I opened my laptop and started browsing job listings in nearby cities. My field had openings everywhere. Skilled trade work was always in demand. Within an hour, I'd submitted applications to 6 different companies. 3 days later, I got a call from a construction firm 2 hours north. The supervisor, guy named Russell, sounded straightforward and no nonsense. Can you start Monday? Yes. Good. Pays $32 an hour to start. Benefits kick in after 90 days. Sound fair? Sounds perfect. That was it. New job, new city, new life starting to take shape. Meanwhile, my old phone, I'd bought a cheap replacement, showed me the wreckage I'd left behind. Someone had posted about the house sale on social media. Neighbors were speculating. Her friends were demanding answers I'd never give. And her? Radio silence after that first wave of panicked messages. I figured she'd finally understood that I wasn't coming back, wasn't answering, wasn't interested in explanations or apologies or drama. The house closed escrow 9 days later. Fastest sale Judith had ever processed. My half of the proceeds hit my account the following morning, enough to start over properly. I found a room for rent in a house with 2 other guys, both tradesmen like me. Rent was cheap, place was clean, roommates kept to themselves. Perfect. 2 weeks after that text message, I was completely untethered from my old life. New job, new place, new routine. No forwarding address. No contact information beyond the new phone number only a handful of people had. She'd wanted me out of her family circle. Mission accomplished. I just took it further than she'd planned. I didn't know exactly what happened at that airport until much later, but I could piece it together from the voicemails and texts that came through before I changed my number. According to her frantic messages, they'd arrived at the terminal 2 hours early. Her mother was already complaining about the coffee prices. Her sister Charlotte was on her phone taking selfies with their luggage. Everything was going according to their plan. Then they got to the check-in counter. The agent scanned their confirmation number and frowned. Typed something. Frowned harder. I'm sorry, but this reservation shows as canceled. My wife. I could hear the confusion in her voicemail recounting this. Insisted it was a mistake. She had the confirmation email right there on her phone. The agent tried again. Called a supervisor. The supervisor checked, made a phone call, came back with the same answer. Sir, the reservation was canceled yesterday evening by the account holder. All 4 passengers. No refund was issued due to the cancellation timeline. That's when she tried calling me. 6 times in a row while standing at that counter. Straight to voicemail every time because I'd already turned off the phone. Her mother, according to the screaming voicemail she left me, caused a scene. Demanded to speak to a manager. Threatened to call corporate. The supervisor calmly explained that the cancellation was legitimate, processed correctly, and final. But we're here. We're ready to board. I understand, ma'am, but without valid reservations, I can't issue boarding passes. Charlotte apparently suggested they just buy new tickets on the spot. That's when they discovered the cruise was completely sold out. Had been for weeks. And even if it wasn't, for last-minute cruise packages would cost close to $12,000. None of them had that kind of money. Her mother's voicemail devolved into incoherent rage about disrespect and humiliation and family. She demanded I call back immediately and fix this. The entitlement was almost funny. They spent 3 hours at that airport trying to find a solution. Called the cruise line directly, same answer. Tried to reach me, nothing. Eventually had to accept they weren't going anywhere. The ride home, based on the texts, was apparently silent and tense. Her mother blamed her. Charlotte stayed quiet, and my wife kept trying to reach me, getting more desperate with each message. Please just call me back. I don't understand why you're doing this. We can talk about this, please. I was already halfway across the country by then, grabbing dinner at a truck stop and planning my next steps. The real chaos started when they got back home and she saw the for sale sign on the lawn. That voicemail was different. No anger, just shock. What is happening? Why is there a sign? Please call me. She tried the front door. Key didn't work. I'd had Judith coordinate with the locks being changed as part of the sale prep. Standard procedure. A neighbor came over, older guy named Gavin who'd always been friendly. I heard his voice in the background of one message. He moved out about a week ago. Had a moving truck here, loaded up his stuff. Seemed like he was in a hurry. Did he say where he was going? Nope. Just said he was making some changes. Real estate agent's been by a few times since. My wife tried calling Judith. Got sent to voicemail. Judith was professional enough not to get involved in the personal drama. Then she went to the bank. That's where it really hit her. The joint accounts were gone. Closed. Her name removed. The account we'd shared for a decade, empty. I'd withdrawn my portion, legally and cleanly, before closing everything. The bank manager, different person than Patrick, thankfully, confirmed that I had every right to do exactly what I'd done. Funds were split according to account ownership. Everything was proper. Charlotte's text, which somehow got forwarded to me, summed it up. What did you do to him? He doesn't just leave like this. What happened? Good question. Their mother was furious about the money she'd lost on the cruise cancellation. Started demanding my wife figure out how to get the funds back, like that was somehow possible. The family group chat, I was still on it for another day before someone removed me, was vicious. This is your fault. You must have done something. $8,000 gone because you couldn't keep your husband happy. The sister tried defending her once or twice, but even Charlotte seemed confused and frustrated. Meanwhile, I was sitting in my new room, assembling cheap furniture from a box store, completely at peace. The house sold 6 days later. Cash offer, quick close, exactly like Judith predicted. My wife found out through a neighbor. She'd been staying with her mother, apparently. Showed up to find new owners already moving in. One of her final messages to my old number, before I disconnected it entirely. I don't understand. We can fix this. Please just talk to me. This is insane. But it wasn't insane. It was clarity. She'd shown me exactly where I stood in her priorities. I'd simply accepted it and acted accordingly. The only insane thing would have been staying and pretending that text message didn't reveal everything I needed to know. 3 weeks into my new life, I was settling into a comfortable routine. Wake up at 5:30, hit the job site by 6:30, work until 3, then head back to the house. My roommates Tyler and River were easy to live with. We'd share a beer on the porch sometimes, talk about work, sports, nothing heavy. I wasn't hiding exactly. I just wasn't broadcasting my location either. New phone number, new address, new job, clean break. Then Russell pulled me aside one afternoon at the site. Hey, someone called the office asking about you. Woman. Said she was your wife. I stopped what I was doing. What did you tell her? Nothing. Told her we don't give out personal information about employees. She pushed pretty hard though. Seemed desperate. If she calls again, same answer. He nodded. You got it. None of my business, but you all right? Yeah, just need to stay hard to find for a while. Say no more. But she was persistent. Over the next week, I started noticing things. A mutual friend from back home, guy I'd known since high school, sent me a message on social media asking if I was okay. Then another friend. Then her sister Charlotte. Someone was making calls, asking around, trying to track me down. I didn't respond to any of them. Didn't confirm where I was or what I was doing. Let them wonder. The following Saturday, I was leaving a diner downtown after breakfast when I saw her, standing next to a rental car across the street, staring directly at me. For a second, neither of us moved. Then she started walking toward me. I stayed where I was, hand on my truck door handle. "How did you find me?" I asked when she got close enough. "Your friend Gavin. He mentioned you'd gotten a job in construction somewhere out west. I called every construction company within 300 miles until someone confirmed you worked there. Impressive dedication. Wish she'd shown half that effort in the marriage. You drove here, flew to the nearest city, rented a car. I've been sitting outside your work for 2 days waiting to see you." I didn't know what to say to that, so I said nothing. She looked different. Tired. Hair pulled back. No makeup. Wearing jeans and a plain shirt. Not the polished version of herself she usually presented. "We need to talk," she said. "No, we don't." "Yes, we do. This is insane. You can't just disappear like this." "I didn't disappear. I left. There's a difference." "Over a text message? You threw away 12 years over one text." I leaned against my truck. "That text message told me everything I needed to know. You wanted me out of your family plans. I respected that. Took myself out completely. My mother pressured me. She's always been difficult about." "Stop." I held up my hand. "Don't blame your mother. You sent that text. You made that choice. Own it." Her eyes got wet. I'd seen her cry before, usually to manipulate a situation. This seemed different, but I didn't care enough to analyze it. "I made a mistake," she said quietly. "You made a choice, and I made mine. We both have to live with the consequences. The house is sold. The accounts are closed. You won't answer my calls. How is that fair?" "Fair." I actually laughed. "You uninvited me from a trip I paid for, via text message, because I wasn't blood family. And you want to talk about fair?" A couple walked past us on the sidewalk, glancing over curiously. She waited until they were gone. "I'm sorry." "Okay. I'm sorry. I was wrong. Can we please just talk about this like adults?" "There's nothing to talk about. You showed me where I stood. I accepted it. Now I'm building a life that doesn't include you." "Just like that? 12 years and you're done." "Just like that." She wiped her eyes with the back of her hand. "Are you seeing someone?" The question caught me off guard. "That's none of your business." "So you are." I wasn't. Not yet anyway. But I saw no reason to give her that information. "Go home," I said, opening my truck door. "There's nothing for you here." "Wait." "Go. Home." I looked at her directly. "Whatever you thought we had. It ended the moment you sent that text. You don't get to show up now and pretend you can fix it with tears and apologies. I'm done." I got in the truck and started the engine. She stood there in the parking lot, watching as I drove away. In my rearview mirror, I saw her get smaller and smaller until she disappeared completely. That night, my phone buzzed. New number, but I recognized the area code. Her message was short. "I know I can't fix this, but I need you to know I understand now what I did. I'm sorry. I read it twice, then deleted it. Some apologies come too late. This was one of them." 2 months after that parking lot conversation, my life had found its rhythm. The job was going well. Russell had even mentioned a potential promotion to site supervisor if I kept performing. The pay was decent, the work was satisfying, and I'd started building friendships with the crew. Lexi worked in the office, handling scheduling and client communications. She was sharp, funny, and didn't take herself too seriously. We'd started having lunch together most days. Nothing romantic, just easy conversation with someone who made me laugh. One Friday, she invited me to a barbecue at her brother's place. I almost said no out of habit, then realized there was no reason to refuse. "Sure. What time?" 7. Fair warning, my brother's a terrible cook, but nobody has the heart to tell him. The barbecue was exactly what I needed. Normal people, casual atmosphere, no drama. Lexi's brother Nora was indeed a terrible cook, but enthusiastic about it. Her sister-in-law Sadie kept sneaking properly cooked burgers from a second grill she'd set up in the garage. "We just let him think his are the good ones," Sadie whispered, handing me an actual edible burger. I spent the evening talking, laughing, drinking beer on their back deck. Someone asked about my background, and I gave them the abbreviated version. Recent divorce, fresh start, happy to be here. Nobody pushed for details. Nobody made it weird. Just accepted it and moved on. When Lexi drove me back to my place later, she turned to me before I got out. "You seem lighter than when you first started. Whatever you left behind, you made the right call." "Thanks." I think so too. Meanwhile, through the social media grapevine I hadn't completely severed, I heard bits and pieces about my ex-wife's situation. She'd moved into a small apartment on the outskirts of our old town, got a job at a call center, not the career she'd envisioned, but bills needed paying. The house sale money had been split legally, but apparently she'd burned through her half faster than expected. Her relationship with her mother was strained. Charlotte had posted something cryptic about family learning hard lessons about consequences before deleting it. I felt nothing hearing this. No satisfaction, no guilt, just detachment. She'd made choices. So had I. We were both living with the results. 3 months in, Russell pulled me aside after work. Got a question for you. How do you feel about running the new residential project starting next month? It's a step up, more responsibility, better pay. How much better? 42 an hour, plus overtime. I didn't have to think long. I'm in. Good. You've earned it. Client specifically asked for you after seeing your work on the Davis build. That night, Tyler and River insisted on celebrating. We hit a local bar, shot some pool, and they spent the evening giving me crap about being the responsible one who'd worked his way up. Meanwhile, I'm still laying tile like a chump, Tyler said, but he was grinning. You're lazy. That's the difference, River shot back. The banter was comfortable. Easy. This was what friendship looked like when it wasn't complicated by obligation or history. Around 10, my phone buzzed. Unknown number, but I recognized the message style immediately. I heard you got promoted. Congratulations. You always deserved better than what you had. It was her. New number again, somehow still keeping tabs. I showed the message to Tyler. What would you do? Block it. Move on. She had her chance. He was right. I blocked the number and went back to the game. The next week, Lexi asked if I wanted to grab dinner after work. Not with the crew, just us. Like a date. I asked, if you're comfortable with that. If not, just as friends. I'm good either way. I thought about it. I wasn't ready for anything serious, and I told her that directly. I'm not looking for serious either, she said. I just enjoy spending time with you. No pressure. So we went. Casual restaurant, good food, better conversation. She told me about her last relationship. Ended badly, trust issues, still working through it. So we're both kind of a mess, I said. Perfect. 2 messes make a functional friendship, right? That's not how math works. Close enough. Walking back to my truck afterward, she linked her arm through mine. Friendly, not possessive. Comfortable. Thanks for tonight, she said. Thank you for asking. I drove home feeling something I hadn't felt in over a year, genuinely content. No drama, no games. No wondering where I stood. Just a simple, honest connection with someone who saw me as I was now, not who I'd been before. The old life was completely gone. The new one was finally starting to feel authentic. And somewhere back in that old town, my ex-wife was learning what it meant to lose someone who'd spent 12 years being taken for granted. I hoped she learned something from it. But honestly, it wasn't my problem anymore. 6 months had passed since that text message changed everything. 6 months of building a life I actually wanted instead of one I'd settled for. The promotion was official now. I was running 3 residential projects simultaneously, managing crews, dealing with clients. The work was challenging but rewarding. Russell had pulled me aside last week to say I was being considered for a partnership stake in the company if things kept going this way. Lexi and I had settled into something comfortable. Not quite a relationship, not quite just friends. We'd go out once or twice a week, enjoy each other's company, and keep things light. No pressure, no expectations. After 12 years of marriage that felt like walking through a minefield, this was refreshing. My roommates had become genuine friends. Tyler was teaching me guitar on weekends. River and I had started a tradition of Sunday morning breakfast at this hole-in-the-wall place that served the best pancakes I'd ever had. Simple things, but they mattered. I'd even started calling my parents again, something I'd avoided during the marriage because she'd always made it difficult. My mom cried the first time I called, said she'd been worried sick, but didn't want to intrude. You sound happy, she'd said. I am. Good. You deserve to be. Then one Saturday evening, there was a knock on the door. Tyler was out. River was in his room. I answered it without thinking. She stood there on the porch. Same tired look from the parking lot months ago, maybe worse. Dark circles under her eyes, thinner than I remembered. How did you find where I live? Does it matter? Her voice was flat. Yeah, it does. This is crossing a line. I needed to see you. I've been calling, texting. You block every number. Because I don't want to talk to you. That should be pretty clear by now. River's door opened behind me. He took one look at the situation and quietly disappeared back into his room. Smart guy. Can I come in? She asked. No. Please. 5 minutes. That's all I'm asking. Against my better judgment, I stepped outside and closed the door behind me. We stood on the porch, cool evening air between us. Say what you came to say. She took a breath. My life fell apart. The job I got barely pays rent. My mother won't speak to me. She blames me for the money she lost on the cruise. Charlotte's sympathetic, but she's got her own life. I'm alone. And you're telling me this because? Because I need you to understand what you did to me. I actually laughed. Couldn't help it. What I did to you. You destroyed everything. The house, our savings, our life together. Over one mistake. Stop calling it a mistake. It was a choice. Your choice. My mother pressured me. Your mother didn't send that text. You did. You decided I wasn't worth bringing on a trip I paid for. You decided I wasn't family. You made that call. I just took you seriously. She wiped her eyes. I was wrong. I know that now. I've apologized. What more do you want? Nothing. I don't want anything from you. That's what you're not understanding. So that's it. 12 years and you feel nothing. I thought about it. Really thought about it. I feel relieved, I said finally. For 12 years, I tried to be enough for you. Worked hard, paid the bills, showed up. And it was never quite right. Always something missing, always some way I didn't measure up. That text message was just the final confirmation of what I'd suspected for years. I was convenient, not valued. That's not true. It is true. And the crazy thing? I'm grateful. Because now I'm building a life with people who actually want me around. Not because I'm useful or because I pay for things, but because they genuinely enjoy my company. Lexi's car pulled up to the curb. She got out, holding a bag of takeout, and stopped when she saw us. Bad timing, she called out. No, we're done here, I said. My ex-wife looked at Lexi, then back at me. You're with her? That's none of your business. Of course. You moved on. Just like that. It took me 12 years to move on. I just needed to physically leave to do it. Lexi stayed by her car, giving us space but clearly ready to intervene if needed. My ex-wife's voice dropped. I drove 14 hours to get here. To tell you I made a mistake. To ask for another chance. You drove 14 hours because you're lonely and struggling and thought maybe I'd feel sorry for you. But I don't. You made choices that had consequences. So did I? The difference is I'm happy with mine. Just like that? You can just shut off 12 years. No, it wasn't just like that. It was every time you chose your mother's opinion over our partnership. Every time you made plans without including me. Every holiday spent with your family where I was tolerated, not welcomed. It was 1,000 small moments that added up to that text message. You just finally said out loud what your actions had been showing me for years. She was quiet for a long time. When she spoke again, her voice was barely a whisper. I didn't realize. I should have, but I didn't. I believe you. And I'm sorry it took losing me to figure it out. But that's not my problem to solve anymore. So what do I do now? You go home. You figure out your own life. You learn from this. And you never contact me again. She looked at me like she was seeing a stranger. Maybe she was. The man who would have tolerated that text message and tried to fix things, he was gone. I really am sorry, she said. I know. But sorry doesn't undo what's done. Go home. Move forward. Just not with me. She walked to her car. A different rental than last time. I watched her drive away, tail lights disappearing down the street. Lexi walked up beside me. You okay? Yeah, I'm good. She came all this way. Apparently. Didn't change anything though. We went inside. Lexi had brought Chinese food, my favorite from the place downtown. River emerged from his room, assessed the situation, and asked if we had extra egg rolls. We ate dinner at the kitchen table, talking about nothing important. Work gossip, weekend plans, River's disaster of a first date last week. Normal. Easy. Comfortable. Later, after Lexi left and River went to bed, I sat on the porch with a beer. My phone buzzed. One final text from a number I didn't recognize. I hope you find happiness. I mean that. I read it once, then deleted it. Didn't block the number, didn't need to. She'd gotten the message. The night was quiet. Peaceful. Somewhere out there, she was driving back to a life she'd have to rebuild from scratch. Learning hard lessons about taking people for granted. And here I was, 6 months into a new life, surrounded by people who valued me. A job I was good at. a future that looked promising. She'd wanted me out of her family circle that day. She sent the text. Mission accomplished. I just took it further than she ever imagined. Built an entire life she wasn't part of. Found peace she couldn't touch. The door she'd slammed in my face. I'd walked through it and never looked back. And I'd never been happier.